I've been waiting to make this video for a long time, because bringing clarification to my video essays and bringing closure to my admiration for Chloe are two things Jesus Christ himself told me to do. So I gotta do it because he told me to. He's my best friend. Before we get to Chloe, I need to do some elucidation on my video essays. 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are 4 of my Miraculous Ladybug video essays that I will forever refuse to watch again, because back then, I was in a phase. I was in a Miraculous Ladybug fanboy phase. I know a lot of people think that these videos are stupid, and I understand and agree, because that's what I get, bro. That's what I get for being a fanboy of this stupid show. I become stupid. Usually I don't make promises because I'm too lazy to keep one. I still won't make promises. Guys, I promise I will try to never ever make another video essay where I act like a fanboy. From now on, I'll just make video essays as a critic who criticizes and defends the things that I think are misunderstood and are not that bad, with valid, sensible points. I'm not promising, I'm trying. I recommend doing that too. Don't make promises, just say you'll try. I'll try to never launch any nuclear What? Dude, now is not the time for that. Oh, sorry, Michael. These videos, please disregard them. They mean absolutely nothing now. Especially this!
I really do believe that these two are made for each other. They're the most perfect couple I've ever seen. Say what you want about this, say what you want about that, I don't give a damn! No matter what you say, you'll never change my mind. My mind will always say, these two were made for each other.
I feel like I'm buried alive inside of my own grave. From this video essay to my latest one is where I began to criticize Miraculous Ladybug for real, with exaggerated anger for comedic purposes, but this video aged like milk only about 10%. The only thing that does not hold up here is my criticism of Gang of Secrets. It's not 2, it's a 7. At first I despised it because I literally watched it only one time. But after getting over recency bias, it turned out to be good. Not perfect though. However, my thoughts about Truth, Lies, Mr. P72, and Furious Foo are still the same. All of them are bad, except Furious Foo. Furious Foo is okay. Maybe it's a 5 out of 10 now. This video, I don't remember why I made an hour-long video about Chloe's waste of a time half-sister. I think she's her half-sister. That's what I remember, but I'm not sure exactly. Yes, she's her half-sister. I think. I don't know. Let me just rewatch it real quick. It aged like milk 30%. The things that do not hold up here are the definition of Mary Sue that I stated, my scores about these 2 episodes, and my statement about Chloe being trapped in a cage.
You really think I'm that stupid?
I think the reason why I hated these 2 episodes so goddamn much back then was because it got to me personally. It hurt my fanboy feelings, and that is just very unprofessional of me. I am so sorry. Other than that, the rest of the video holds up. This video absolutely does not hold up anymore, because every single one of these scores are outdated. They all changed. This video, the only 2 things that are wrong here are my explanation of the goat Miraculous. It cannot create magical objects. He was lying about the wand thingy. I just forgot about that one teensy tiny detail. I'm sorry. I guess that's what I get for watching the worst episode ever. It destroyed my brain. It destroyed my knowledge. And the other thing that does not hold up in this video is this part where I talk about why I hate Felix now. Yeah, I was acting like a Chloe fanboy there for a moment. So please disregard everything that I said here. Only at that part about why I hate Felix now. I still hate Felix, but for different reasons. Oh, I almost forgot about this one. It's outdated. I wanted to consider this outdated because I love Alia now. She's been fleshed out and well established. She finally became a character, but after the season 4 finale, it aged very well, unfortunately, because not only is the forceful introductions of superhero characters is still a problem to this day, but Alia/Rena Rouge sucks. Just like back then. She feels like a plot device, a tool. I haven't watched season 5 yet. I only watched the first chapter, but I heard that the second episode, Multiplication, made Alia even worse than ever. Damn. Oh, and about this video. It's a troll video, dude, relax. I still hate Marinette. I was just fooling around mostly in this video. Anyway, I just rewatched these 4 videos, and you wanna know something? I felt like I was watching videos made by a completely different person. I felt like Danny Worsnop watching his old Asking Alexandria live videos.
Before we start, I don't even know these people anymore. This is crazy. We were such different human beings that looking back, it feels like someone else's memories.
In short, it felt weird. That's why this video exists, so I can finally stop feeling weird inside. That sounds about right. Just to be perfectly clear, I do not care about Chloe anymore. I no longer care about her wasted potential, wasted redemption, because there are much bigger things happening right now in the show than just her being irredeemable, as Thomas likes to claim. I made this video for clarification and closure. So please, sit back and relax, because it's time to defend Chloe without being stupid. It's time to defend Chloe without being naive. It's time to defend Chloe the real way, before I officially move on. Let's do this one last time. Chloe is a junior high student who attends Miss Boustier's class. Miss Bustier. Imagine Miss Bustier in Dead or Alive Extreme Venus Vacation. She is the daughter of the mayor Andre and the queen of fashion Audrey. I know her hairstyle reminds me of someone. I just know it, but I can't seem to... Oh, Anna Williams from Tekken! No wonder I used to say she's hot. She's still hot though. Obviously not as hot as... you know. Anyway, the day I started to admire Chloe a hell of a lot is when Season 2 transpired. Season 2 is the best for a lot of characters, but Chloe shined the brightest, and here's why. Throughout the entirety of Season 1, Chloe was just a typical school bully, the type of person you would want to see in hell. For the most part, she's the reason why akumatizations are a thing. We never see any explanation as to why Chloe behaves this way until Season 2. In the episode Despair Bear, her backstory is revealed in such a genius procedure. To be completely honest, I was very invested when I first saw this, because I am aware that Chloe is a character that exists, and she's been fleshed out a lot, to the point where I ended up caring about her. This made me want to know more about Chloe since they just showed an image that doesn't really explain that much, which makes it extremely interesting. They didn't directly tell the viewers everything that happened to her when she was a toddler. If they did do it that way, then it's going to suck. Because you know what they say, show, don't tell. In my opinion, showing is a much more effective and beneficial writing technique than telling, since it allows the audience to be in the shoes of the character and or characters, and it also helps them develop in an immersive way. The best part about show, don't tell is that it often leaves a couple of things for the viewers to figure out for themselves, which is much more interesting than making everything clear as day.
Important side note, I'm not saying that telling is actually a terrible way of making a story. As a matter of fact, it can actually be really good as long as you use it properly and don't overuse it to the point where it becomes really stupid. Like, take a look at Chloe's sister's backstory as an example of a terrible backstory reveal. It's so terrible because they overdid the telling. They really should have just spread out all of the pieces of the puzzle that form her personality and backstory. It would have been a lot better for me if it was, I don't know, shown and implemented in other episodes. More than one episode. They really should have just fleshed her out before showing her backstory. That way I can actually care about her backstory. But no, they did all of that in one episode. They didn't show, they told. Telling is not bad, but they overdid it to the point where it became stupid. Chloe's sister's backstory is tragic, but it was done so stupidly.
This will forever remain one of the best things they have ever done in the show, since it was a genius way to give Chloe more depth and to get the audience interested. It's simple, but very well done. Real quick, my official scores about these two are not 7 out of 10. I was overreacting at that time. It is both 5 out of 10. Just want to get that out of the way. You want to know something? I enjoyed the subway scene in Queen Wasp. Yes, you heard me. I enjoyed it. That's what she said. When it comes to movies, TV shows, or anything, context is as important as the execution. For many years, I used to believe that execution is the only thing that matters. I don't care about what's going to happen, I only care about how it's going to happen. But that officially changed thanks to a lot of thinking. My mentality has changed, but not my opinions. Except for these, of course. They have changed. But my opinions about this, and 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 this remain the same. Most notably, these two scenes from Queen Wasp. In my opinion, they were fantastic because of how the context and the execution worked well together. Not being able to receive a mother's love will make someone think and act irrationally. According to my research, a mother's love is extremely important for the healthy emotional outcome of children. In most cases, it is the mother who is the primary caregiver, and how she treats her children greatly affects their lives, their behaviors, and their mentality. It was absolutely genius that they gave Audrey an episode where she physically appears and was given the spotlight to be an actual character, and the reason for Chloe's bad behavior afterward. It made me want to care about her. Take a look at Style Queen, an episode that builds up to this episode. During this chapter, Audrey is shown to be a horrible mother / wife right off the bat, since she hardly appreciates her own daughter, let alone remembers her daughter's name, including her husband. It also shows that Chloe's terrible attitude that's been fleshed out a lot came from the neglect and underappreciation her mother showed her back then and now. It perfectly adds more complexity and profundity to Chloe's character, and it makes this scene an amazing character moment for Chloe, since the given context fits right in perfectly, which perfectly makes her a sympathetic character. Also, for me, the voice acting, the facial expressions, and the action are all amazing dramatizations for Chloe's understandable conflict. That is what I call amazing execution. This would honestly not make Chloe sympathetic if the context is something else. Let's say, hypothetically, the presentation stays the same. The facial expressions are believable, the voice acting brings so much life, the action is top-notch, blah blah blah. But the reason why Chloe did that is not that she wanted to receive something she was never able to receive as a child, but because she merely wants to kill people. No other reason. It's just her hobby to kill kill people. Of course I wouldn't think she's empathetic. Still amazing directing though. Now let's say hypothetically the reason stays the same. She just wants to be loved by her mother. But the way they directed it is garbage. The voice acting is terrible, the pacing is way too fast for anyone to handle, the characters look lifeless, and this is Chloe's very first episode. I think the reason is still sad, but I wouldn't care because it was presented very poorly, and I didn't know Chloe exists. That goes to show why the context needs to work together with the execution. And in my opinion, this scene did it perfectly. The reason behind this train wreck was so goddamn understandable and very well delivered. Chloe might as well be excused. Her comprehensible motivation does not excuse her for nearly killing people, but it does excuse her from being a terrible character. This scene doesn't make her an amazing person, obviously, but the wonderful writing makes her an amazing character. And that's what matters, because that's what she is, a character. After being reckless and relentless, that album is a masterpiece. Changed my mind. After being reckless and relentless with the Be Miraculous, Chloe returns it to Ladybug, and this is where Chloe officially became my favorite. From a writer's perspective, this scene was truly exceptional, and it is without a doubt Chloe's best moment in the whole show. The visage, the atmosphere, the music, the voice performance, everything's flawless!
Everything's flawless!
Not only that, but it also successfully got Chloe out of the one-dimensional character jail. She is not just a bully anymore. She is now transformed into an onion. Onions have layers. Ogres have layers. Chloe has layers. Thanks to this, she sincerely apologizes to Ladybug and Cat Noir for arrogantly using her superpowers and for indirectly killing Pollen. It shows that despite all of her negative traits, Chloe can be sometimes remorseful towards her own actions. She can have the balls to realize she did something awful. That is what I call layers. Fun fact, this isn't the first time she became an onion. In an earlier episode, Zombie Zoo, she apologizes to Miss Bustier, Miss Bustier, for forgetting her birthday and causing trouble for everyone. Before that even happens, she started to feel regret for what she's done and was willing to sacrifice herself for Ladybug. So not only is she remorseful, but she can also be regretful. Yes, these two are very different things, which means Chloe has more layers.
Very important side note, it turns out the internet is lying to me. For instance, it says remorse is all about deep emotions, while regret is emotionless. And then we get to this. Remorse is all about feeling deep regret? What? So remorse and regret are the same thing? Remorse is regret? I don't know anymore because I don't trust the internet anymore, so can anyone please comment down below and explain to me the truest meaning of remorse and regret? Are they the same thing or are they different? Please. I'm getting confused here. But my point will still stand at the end of the day. Chloe is not one-dimensional. She may be a bully, a bad person, but she can also feel remorse or regret.
Lastly, in Maledictator, before they save the day together, Chloe began to admit that her father being akumatized is all her fault. Chloe also tearfully explained that it's not just because of what happened at school, but it's because she has no reason to stay in Paris, since no one likes her and she has no friends, even describing herself as
Useless.
It shows that despite being so arrogant, Chloe is not self-confident internally. Even though Chloe did tell Ladybug what happened and how she's feeling, it still shows something, because she didn't tell everything the audience need to know. Only the things that are enough for the viewers to comprehend for themselves. That is still considered show don't tell. And that, my friends, is why Chloe is awesome in Season 2. Because it gave her complexity, it gave her layers, it made her into an onion. Her backstory was delivered incredibly well because it was shown, not told. And the fact that the puzzle pieces that explain her backstory and personality were spread out in multiple episodes, not too much and not too less, is Jimmy Neutron level of genius for Miraculous Ladybug standards. Plus, Chloe did not overstay her welcome in this season, nor did she understay, if that's even a real terminology. Her screen time was just enough for my satisfaction. I do not care about Chloe anymore, but she will forever remain the queen of Season 2, in my opinion. Season 3, however, is where she became Jamie Oliver's egg fried rice.
Mulan's gonna start singing when she sees this rice.
In other words, she became terrible again, but there's something peculiar about it. Back then, I hated the fact that Chloe became bad again, because I was such a huge fanboy of Chloe. Right now, as a critic, putting aside my fanboy feelings, I still hate the fact that she became bad again. Whether you're a big fan of Chloe or not, Chloe's damnation arc, as Thomas likes to call it, is absolutely terrible writing. I mean, I get what they were trying to accomplish. We all know what they were trying to accomplish. Intentional character assassination. There is nothing wrong with that. As a matter of fact, it can be a good idea, as long as it's handled with competence. In my opinion, they did such a horrific job that it ended up being a character assassination that has gone terrible terribly wrong. For those people who do not know, character assassination, CA for short, is a process that aims to ruin someone's reputation. Chloe got exactly that. Let's get to why I don't hate Chloe, even after the writers did so many attempts to make me feel what they want me to feel about her. From the beginning of season 3, the writers, especially Thomas Astruc, really wanted the viewers to start hating Chloe once again by purposefully ruining her redemption, and by endlessly reminding people on Twitter that Chloe is irredeemable and was never supposed to have redemption in the first place. Okay, after all of those attempts, they still failed their mission. For me personally, because just like mostly everything and everyone in this stupid show, Chloe's damnation arc was forced. Why exactly is it forced? Very simple. Too much focus for its own good. Think about it. After Chloe got so much attention for the sake of reminding the audience that Chloe will never change, and after being beaten up like a dead horse a couple of times, the story moves on, as if nothing special happened recently. So, tell me why. Tell me why focus on Chloe so much if you're just gonna make her go back to square one and leave absolutely no impact on the plot? Why dedicate the majority of season 3 to Chloe's useless damnation arc? Why not focus on even more important things? Like, I don't know, the two main characters, the heart and soul of Miraculous Ladybug, Adrianette, the love square? I heard that season 5 is building up Adrianette for real, but how can I possibly feel excited for that? The premature seasons did nothing to Adrianette other than making it so awkward, toxic, and annoying. No real chemistry at all in my opinion, except for a couple of moments, but those are not enough for me. I need more.
That's what she said.
Thanks to all of that development, if it is even considered development, I ended up not loving nor caring about Adrianette anymore because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the same stupid ass thing. I want something new. Like Chloe's redemption, well, it turned out to be not real. So tell me why. Tell me why you couldn't give them more episodes where real chemistry is being brought upon between them. The love square is endgame, right? I'm supposed to think that these two are made for each other, right? I'm supposed to care about this more than anything, right? Instead of concentrating on actual important plot points like this, the writers gave most of the screen time and focus to Chloe. She got so much attention to the point where I ended up caring about her more than anything in the show. But as far as I know, she's not even that important anymore. If you're gonna concentrate on a character that much, then be sure it's a character that is very important to the plot, so you will end up not wasting the audience's time. Look, if you want to explain the real reason behind Chloe's vengeance, go ahead, comment down below all you want. Just keep in mind that I'm not going to care, because there's no point. Chloe has no point. No one knows for sure what the future is going to bring, but will Chloe be necessary to the story again? If not, then I think we can all safely conclude that the majority of seasons 2 and 3 were a gigantic waste of time, since you can literally retcon Chloe's entire arc and nothing will change story-wise. That is what you call bad writing. Would it be a lot better if Chloe ended up being a good person? Yes, because not only would it send a good message to kids, but it'll also not make Chloe's arc a waste of time, since something would actually be fully developed. Here's how I would execute Chloe's redemption. I'm just gonna make it happen in season 2. Develop a friendship between these two, transform her into a 70% nice person who still needs to learn a lot about being nice, and finally, give closure to her relationship with her mom. And then in season 3, put Chloe aside from now on, because it's time for other characters to have the spotlight and develop, like these two, Adrianette, the love square. Who would be Miracle Queen if it's not going to be Chloe? My waifu, duh. If I were to rewrite season 3, I would give Adrian and Marisu actual chemistry and development, and give Lila enough development so I can transform her into an interesting, believable, not waste of a time final boss of the finale. Lila had so much potential to be a great villain. I really can't see any reason why they didn't develop my waifu, let alone flesh her out in the first place. Oh wait, of course I know the reason. Wasting time with Chloe's useless damnation arc. What they used to do with Chloe was amazing, but sadly, it means absolutely nothing now. Everything that happened to Chloe doesn't matter anymore. So with all of that out of the way, I have come to this conclusion. As a critic, I think hating on Chloe after the writers did a desperately poor job persuading me that I should start disliking her again will make me look like a teacher, giving an A+ to a lazy student. It just feels so wrong. It'll violate my standards. If you really want me to hate Chloe, quit forcing it out. Stop making it too obvious. Make sure it's actually something important to the plot, so it won't be a waste of time. And also, I highly recommend rewarding her for all of her bad deeds. Never call her out for all of her bad deeds. Because in my opinion, there is nothing more frustrating seeing a terrible person getting rewarded for doing bad things. If you're willing to do any of these, then I think I will hate Chloe for real. But what are the chances of that happening anyway? Chloe probably doesn't matter anymore, and I no longer care about Chloe. Wait, maybe that is the CA they were going for, making the audience not care about Chloe anymore. Well, they did a good job. IDCA Chloe anymore. But my point still stands. You wasted a lot of my time and your time with Chloe's damnation arc. Terrible writing. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I might as well so I can finally bring closure. I really don't want there to be another Chloe defense video. For whatever stupid reason you can think of, Chloe is considered to be a racist by a lot of people. And I mean a lot of people. I don't know why. I mean, I can understand if you were to call her a bully, a narcissist, a selfish person, a rich spoiled teenager, an arrogant superheroine, a stupid bitch. But a racist? How is Chloe a racist? Where in the love of God did they get this information? Here's why I used to call Marinette a stalker 24/7. That creepy side of her has been established and pointed out many times. Plus, she even went too far with stalking more than one time. I am of course talking about the time when she made a whole chart dedicated to Adrian's personal, private daily schedule. The time she sniffed Adrian pretending to be a wax statue and knows that the smell is exactly the same. The time she grabbed a strand of Adrian's hair. The time she broke into his house and sniffed his pillow. The time she mentioned that she knows Adrian's private schedule by heart for the next 3 years.
You know Adrian's schedule by heart. Yeah, for the next 3 years, duh.
Comment if I missed anything. Now let's get to Chloe. It turns out that there are a couple of episodes where Chloe became a racist. And you want to know how many episodes? In the episode Kung Food, Chloe said this to Marisu's uncle.
Marinette wasn't there.
No speak Japanese. See ya.
And then in Anime Maestro, Chloe said this.
If we don't sacrifice a few macarons now, Adrian will be eating sushi for the rest of his life.
That's all there is to it. Does that make her a 100% racist? Well, I'm not an expert when it comes to these things, so I have decided to conduct an interview with my dad. And trust me when I say he's an expert when it comes to society, politics, history, racism, etc., etc. So here's the interview.
So, what is racism?
Well, racism is a belief that race is a fundamental determinant of human traits and capacities, that the racial differences produce an inherent rights of every race.
So, how does someone become a racist?
When someone look down on other race, like in terms of color, in terms of economic status, they look down on, for example, a black man, they look down on it, so it becomes a racist. It's a prejudice against one race.
But what if the context is different? What if I hate that black guy, not because he's black, but because he punched me in the face the other day? Is that considered racist?
Well, it may not be considered racist, but because of that makeup of that person, which is black and usually discriminated, that becomes a racism.
But it's not racist if the context is something else?
Well, context can be different, but at the end of the day, that can be considered as racism because of the context of that black people also, where historically they were discriminated because of their color.
But what if I just hate that one black guy? Just one black guy, not the entire black community. Just that one guy. Is that racist?
Well, that cannot be a racism or a racist attitude towards one person. But when it becomes racism when you generalize and then you include everyone in that race.
So it all depends on context.
Yes.
Okay, is it racist to say, here's the context, I'm so ignorant, arrogant, and self-absorbent and just superficial, and then there's this one Chinese guy that comes up to me and says some random Chinese words, and then I say, me no speak Japanese. Is that racist?
Well, I guess no.
Why?
Because it's about language.
So it's not about the race, it's about the language.
Yes.
So,
but language also determines the race. If you speak French, you belong to the French race, right? Or you belong to very specific area in Europe or Caucasian that speak French. But in your particular example, Well, it's still context, right?
Yes. The context is I'm just ignorant. I don't care about the fact that he's Chinese or Japanese. I just don't care.
But ignorance is not it's not an excuse. Ignorance is not an excuse.
Yes, it's not an excuse, but it's the context of that scenario.
Yeah.
So it's not racist?
Well, largely it's not racist, but it can be. It can become a racist remark when you generalize.
When the context is something else. Okay, so last question. Is it racist to say, let's say hypothetically, Ben Shapiro, let's say hypothetically, I'm about to marry a Japanese woman, and then by the time before I marry her, I'm gonna marry her in Japan, and before that happens, I'm gonna say to her, babe, by the time we get married, I'm gonna eat sushi for the rest of my life. Is that racist?
Of course not.
How?
Because you're just saying the truth that Japanese are fond of sushi.
But I'm generalizing Japanese people.
Well, it's not racism because if you say Americans are if I say I will marry an American, so I will eat burgers for the rest of my life. So it's not a racism.
It's
It's a recognition of their difference or of their recognition of their different culture and then different tastes.
But it's not racist.
No.
What if I say every Japanese people make sushi?
Well, it's a way of life. It's an economic value.
That's not racist?
That's not racist because Japanese earned a lot from sushi. There's an economic value or there is an economic aspect in that kind of remark.
So the bottom line is you can make a statement that sounds
The
racist.
bottom line is that it will depend on your intention.
Depend on the context.
The context and your intention. If you want to insult somebody before you say it, and if you have in mind of insulting them, that's a racism. But if you just want to recognize the racial difference of one race like Japanese who are fond of sushi, I guess it's not a racist remark.
Okay. Thank you.
Look, you can say that Chloe's 2 comments are racist, but here's the thing. Those were only 2 comments. She never made another as far as I can tell. A lot of people seem to be defending Marinette and state that she is not really a stalker, even though she did all of this. But they're also the same people who call Chloe a racist, even though she only did these 2. Wow, people say I'm unfair. People say I have double standard. It's true that I hate Marinette once again after watching the first episode of season 5. But you wanna know something? I'm not calling her a creepy, annoying stalker anymore because I hate her for different reasons that make rational sense. It's also because I'm someone who's willing to forgive and move on. If you are not willing to forgive and or move on from Chloe's 2 extremely tiny comments that may sound racist depending on the context, then that only means one thing. You're even more heartless than Chloe herself.
Why you booing me? I'm right.
Okay, so let me just say this out loud because I want to get this straight in my head. You're telling me that someone can be considered 100% racist if they just make 2 comments that sound racist. The context does not matter. The fact that it never happened again does not matter. The only thing that does matter is that she said it.
I just slapped my wall. I am now considered a wall slapper. Am I gonna do it again? I don't know, probably not. I don't care anymore. But I'm still a wall slapper. I just kicked my bed. I am now considered a bed kicker. I just poked my closet. I am now considered a closet poker. I just picked up my Cetaphil Gentle Skin Cleanser. I am now considered a Cetaphil Gentle Skin Cleanser pick-up or whatever. I just punched my bathroom door. I am now considered a bathroom door puncher. I just threw my close-up toothpaste I am now considered a close-up toothpaste thrower. I just pointed at my Head & Shoulders Cool Mental Shampoo. I am now considered a Head & Shoulders Cool Mental Shampoo pointer. I just rubbed my remote. I am now considered a remote rubber. I just patted my electric fan. I am now considered an electric fan You get the idea.
I think I will consider Chloe a racist for real if she will make more racist comments constantly, and or if she goes too far with her racist behavior. But that's not gonna happen because, as I said, Chloe probably doesn't matter anymore. And I no longer care about Chloe. Keep in mind I said probably. In conclusion, Chloe Bourgeois used to be a great character for the show, and the decision of reverting her back is nothing wrong, but done terribly, since it left no impact on the plot at all. There is at least one good thing about Chloe now. She's a bad person who always seems to get what she deserves. Punishments and long-lasting consequences. Most notably, the consequence of her losing the Queen Bee role after joining sides with Gabby for acting so entitled to being Queen Bee. Also, the writers portray her bad actions as bad. She may be bad, but at least they know she's bad. That makes her the only acceptable bad person in the show. Unlike a lot of bad people in this stupid show, like Gabriel, he is even worse than 10,000 Chloes combined. But somehow the writers expect me and everyone to sympathize with him. He's a goddamn nonsensical psychopath who endangers innocent lives for the sake of his family, who he treats like garbage, by the way. That right there, that destroyed his entire motivation. Even this one. What's the point of doing this for your family if you don't even like your family at all? That's like if I were to steal money because I love my daughter. But no, the truth is I hate my daughter. I hate her. But that's okay, since these episodes are considered a what if. So Ephemeral and Cat Blanc are probably not canon. But you wanna know what is canon? This.
I'll destroy this world that took you from us to build a new one, where we'll never be apart again.
He wants to destroy the world for no good reason other than, oh, my wife is dead. You expect me to feel bad about your loss when I don't even know nor care about it? I barely know anything about your wife, bro. Chloe's reason for being a bad person was explained very well. And not only that, I think not everyone experiences what she has experienced. So for me, that makes it a damn good explanation for her bad deeds. Unlike Gabriel, oh boo-hoo, my wife is dead. Oh, I don't care if it's mean. Everybody's got dead people. It's no excuse to destroy the world. Another example of an unacceptably bad person in Miraculous Ladybug.
Nino, I hate this guy so much. I used to think he's a chill guy and an awesome boyfriend for Alia, but ever since Rocketeer, he is now the bane of my existence, alongside Marisu and Master I mean, really, he got an amazing reward for doing this, and the fact that the writers think I should feel sorry for him in this dumbass situation makes me want to sanction Nino. I am dead. Serious. I hate you, Nino. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
Those are my official final thoughts about Chloe, and I mean official final thoughts. Goodbye, Chloe. You were awesome while you lasted, and since I don't care about you anymore, you are no longer one of my favorite characters in MLB. But you are one of my favorite characters in my fanfiction. Duh, it's my fanfiction after all. Maybe I will make one more music video about Chloe someday in the future. Kagami, Julika, Rose, Milan, Ivan, and Kaylin. These guys are my remaining favorite major/recurring characters in Miraculous Ladybug. But objectively speaking, none of them are certainly the best.
loving you so much. Whenever you're away from me, more than just friends we can be. This is what we're meant to be. I know living my life is not easy if you ain't here by my side. Though I took time to realize one thing's true, look into my eyes. I say there ain't no one better than you, so girl stay right here by my side. I don't remember when, but it's truly happened. Girl, you turned out to be a special woman. Just confused a little bit. You're the reason why. No need to worry no more, 'cause I'm not what I used to be. We can weather the storm. I'm gonna keep you warm, just because you belong to me. More than just friends we can be. This is what we're meant to be. I know living my life is not easy if you ain't here by my side. Though I took time to realize one thing's true, look into my eyes. I say there ain't no one better than you, so girl stay right here by my side. I'm aware of your growing love of me, so stupid not to know it. Really, really regret it. I'll never let love slip away this time. Do you still have the same love? Tell me, baby, it's never too late. 'Cause it's my turn to give all my love into you, and I promise I never let go. More than just friends we can be. This is what we're meant to be. I know living my life is not easy if you ain't here by my side. Though I took time to realize one thing's true, look into my eyes. I say there ain't no one better than you, so girl stay right here by my side. More than just friends we can be. This is what we're meant to be. I know living my life is not easy if you ain't here by my side.